The Float is the 23rd episode of the first season of the Looney Tunes show, and I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I thought this was brilliant, so I'll talk a little bit about what happens, but I'm not going to go into any spoiler detail. It starts off with Daffy Duck driving his parade float around, and unfortunately, it gets destroyed. And for a very long time, he is absolutely distraught, and he briefly thinks that Bugs is going to get him a new float, whether that's buying him a float or building him a float. And obviously, this isn't something that Bugs Bunny does. So Daffy decides to ask him for the money for the float. Obviously, Bugs says no. So Daffy asks Porky Pig for the float money. And I'll say no more than that, but what I will say is that Porky Pig in this is absolutely fantastic. We see the character in different situations. We see different sides to the character. We see him responding to things in very interesting ways. I really loved the character of Porky Pig in this. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And the animation for the character definitely gets rather interesting at one point. So really thoroughly enjoyed Porky Pig in this. Daffy was great as well. Of course, his behaviour isn't exactly admirable, but it does make for an interesting episode. And Bugs has a pretty prominent role to play as well, so I really enjoyed that. I also think it's been quite a while since we really only had Daffy, Porky, and Bugs in an episode. Quite recently, we've had a lot of other characters involved, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's nice to bring other characters in every now and then to keep things fresh and interesting, but I have to admit, I do like it when they just strip things back a little bit and the main focus is just on Daffy, Bugs, and Porky, because I think they work really well together. And this certainly helps to show that that's the case. So, really enjoyed the story. Really liked the focus on those three main characters. Obviously, beautifully animated, visually really entertaining, particularly with Porky Pig, and I had a lot of fun with it. Unfortunately, the merry melodies in this episode, You Like I Like with Macintosh, was not great. There were some good moments, but in general, I didn't care for it. But the main narrative of the float I found to be delightful, very entertaining, certainly unpredictable, and I won't say how it ends, but I did like the last few scenes as well. The entire thing from start to finish was very well done, and if you haven't seen it and you're a Looney Tunes fan, I definitely recommend checking it out. I thought it was very well done, definitely enjoyable.